In part 2 of our sewing series, we stitched together pieces 3 and 5, which is what you see here, and we're going to be starting today's video out with that section of fabric. Now we're going to baste the edges of this. So what we want to do is we want to match up our V's here, and then just pin that across, and then we're going to baste at 5/8 of an inch. So now you're going to take the piece that we've been working on, and you're going to take the bodice front number 8, which is the large front piece. We're going to be looking to line up our notches here, but to do that, the easiest way, because here you're working on with a curved piece, so you want to lay your piece so that the side that you have that interfacing stitch, the understitch on, is facing up, and our bodice A is facing right side up. You're going to match up the notches first and pin. Then you're just going to continue to match the raw edges. Because of the curve of the fabric, it's going to look like it is completely puckering down here. And what you're going to do is you're going to flip it right side out and see how it lays nice and flat. Then we're going to do a 5/8 of an inch basting stitch right along our edge here. Then you're going to take the interfacing that you cut out for pattern piece number 6, and on the side of the piece that is unnotched, so this bottom side here, we're going to trim 3/8 of an inch approximately off the bottom of the interfacing. You also want to grab piece number 6 that we cut out of the fabric, and you're going to lay that so that the wrong side is facing up. And then we're going to lay our interfacing right on top of that. You want to make sure to line up your notches, and then you're just going to pin that into place. So now we're just going to do a basting stitch. So we'll do a 5/8 on the sides, all the way along the top, and to the other side as well. You will leave this bottom section unstitched. We are now at this section where we're going to be finishing the unnotched edge of the front facing, which is going to be this side of our piece, where the interfacing is just laying on top. The other side is basted shut. Now the problem is, just saying finished untouched edge of the front facing is not very descriptive. Whenever you're not sure what the instructions are telling you, your first clue is going to be the drawing that they have here, but also your glossary. Here in the glossary, it will tell us exactly what it means by a finished stitch. So a finish is to stitch 1/4 of an inch from the raw edge and finish with one of the following: pink or overcast, or turn in along the stitching and stitch close to fold or overlock. So you have your options of how you want to finish that edge. What you're going to do is you're going to take this over to the sewing machine, and you're going to fold your fabric in over 1/4 of an inch, and you're going to steam that. Then when we take it to the machine, we're just going to kind of tuck that edge in and stitch right on top of it, so you will have an 1/8 of an inch seam right here. It's important to note that when you're steaming up the edge on this is a pretty drastic curve, so you're going to need to cut notches into your fabric to make the curve. So you'll be cutting them here and also down here. Once again, you're going to lay out piece 8, and you want to fold this section that we've already basted on there down. Then what we're going to do is we're going to be taking the piece 6. You want the interfacing to be up. Then you are going to match up the notches at the shoulder and pin it. Since we haven't gathered the shoulder, you're going to want to match up the corners of each of the 2 pieces and pin those together. And you'll do that on both sides of the shoulder. You'll also continue to match up the raw edges and pin them together. You'll also want to be sure that you are matching up your notches as you move down the fabric piece. Once you have this side all pinned up, you'll go ahead and repeat the process on the other side. And again, once you get to the end here, you are going to want to make sure you take extra care in matching up the raw edges, because this is the section that the fabric's going to begin to curve a little bit, so just take your time. Once again, making sure that all your threads for your gathering are up out of the way. There is a small marking right here We're going to do a 5/8 of an 1/8 stitch from here to the end. Then we're also going to do a 5/8 of an inch stitch all the way down here. Once again, we're going to be doing an understitching on both the long side here and on the armpit there. So you're going to go ahead and you're going to take your pinking shears and you're just going to trim that seam allowance down. It will reduce bulk. On this side, we're just going to be cutting that down in the section where we stitched. Then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do understitching. So we're going to press the seam up towards our inner facing here. Then we're going to take it over to the machine, and on the inside inner facing side we're going to stitch 1/8 of an inch from our seam. And once again, we're going to do it on this side as well. And once that's done, you're just going to take your iron and you're going to run it over there just to smooth out your seams. Okay, now we're going to move on to piece number 4. You're going to have 2 fabric pieces and 2 interface pieces, as you see laid out here. Now for the interfacing pieces, along the bottom of them, we're once again just going to trim off about 3/8 of an inch of the interfacing. Now don't trim the fabric, just the interfacing.
Starting Humira, your doctor should test you for TB. Ask your doctor if you live in or have been to a region where certain fungal infections are common.
And then you're going to run a basting stitch all the way around here. Basically, you're just not going to baste the very edge. And then along the bottom, we're going to do that same finishing stitch that we did on the other piece. Now you'll lay out your 2 pieces, number 9, which is the bodice back, and you'll lay those right side down. Then grab those pieces number 4 that we just placed the interfacing on, and what we're going to do is we're going to be matching these up to the shoulders of the back bodice pieces. You're going to do this on both pieces, but essentially you're going to start off by matching up the notch on the top of the shoulder piece of number 4 with number 9, and then you're just going to pin that down. Then you're going to go ahead and match up all your raw edges going around the fabric and pin those down as well. And once again, we're going to do a 5/8 of an inch seam allowance from the top here all the way down, and then on this side from the marked dot all the way to the end. Pieces 9 and 4 are stitched together, so now what we're going to do is we're going to create an understitch around the neckline and around the armhole. So we're going to do this the same way that we did the other ones as well. So you're going to want to, number 1, trim down those seam allowances to reduce the bulk. You want to steam it so that the seam is facing the inner facing, and then you're going to flip it to the reverse side and do an 1/8 of an inch stitch right along the seam allowance. So that is it for part 3. I hope you guys really enjoyed, and as always, feel free in the comment section to leave any questions you have, or feel free to share any of your own tips and tricks. In part 4, we're going to start things off with installing the zipper, such an exciting step, and I hope you guys are having a great day, and I will see you soon. Bye!